County talk. It's finished Harrogate 3, Notts County 1. Absolutely devastating, that, isn't it, Jordan?
Yeah, it is crushing. It's so disappointing, I think, just because we're capable of a lot better than that. And that's why I think it hurts more than, say, if we performed at our best and gone out, I would have been like, we gave it our best shot, but I don't think we did today, and that's why it was a bit more disappointing, but it is what it is.
Yeah, you look at the 3 goals that Harrogate did score, and they did lead from our defensive mistakes. You know, they weren't real quality goals, were they? So do you think that's something that Notts could have worked on, or do you think it's just the break that's taken its effect on the squad?
Maybe it's the break, maybe how we kept the same team. Maybe Harrogate knew how to exploit us in those areas. We gave away quite a lot of set pieces and corners in the first half, and I think their guy Thompson, he can really whip a ball in, and every time he had a set piece, there was a good ball into the box, and we just couldn't deal with it. I think, like I said, defensively, we just we wasn't awake. I don't really know what happened. It just seemed like the communication wasn't there. We broke down and we were sloppy. And then obviously it seemed like Harrogate were going to take advantage of that, and then they deservedly so did get those goals. And it was always going to be a struggle from then, really.
I think today it was just a case of the better team won, didn't they?
Yeah, on the day, I think. I was saying, I don't think the team that finished third in the league, Notts County, the team that finished third in the league, turned up today. I don't think that was a team that finished third in the league at all. I think that performance was not worthy of where we know how we can perform and what we're capable of.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that. I don't want to be too negative on the team, because you look at last season. Obviously, we have our frustrations because we know how we can play, and we know we probably could have beat Harrogate today on our day. But is there an element of pride that we got this far in the season?
Yeah, I still think we've done well to get this far. So, I mean, obviously the disappointment of losing like that in the final and the performance is going to be on your mind more so than what we've actually achieved. To finish third in the league after the start we had and where the club was at is a great finish. And if you're thinking about it, if we'd carried on the season, we may have even got automatic. But it is difficult because it's obviously just happened, it's raw, and it's disappointing. But yeah, like you said, the team have done well to finish where they have in the league. Some outstanding performances throughout the season, especially some last-ditch winners or like some really grueling, challenging games, especially because it's non-league, you're going to get that. So fair play for them for getting this far. And we just couldn't do it this time around. But hopefully next season we keep the core of the group, we keep a good group together, and they're still just as motivated. I think that's what I'd be worried about. We just need to make sure that they're just as motivated to get promoted next season and not kind of have it hang over them too much and not dwell on it too much, because there'll be a lot of players that know they should be playing higher than this league. But I'd want them to finish what they've come here to do and get promoted next season.
Yeah, obviously there's an obvious player in there that you would fear to lose, but other than sort of Cal Roberts, is there any other players you fear we could lose?
It's difficult to tell. No, obviously Enzio got in the team of the season. I think obviously that'll be a massive boost to him in terms of his value and what other teams look at. It just depends as well in terms of the market with lower league teams. I don't think a lot of lower league teams will look to buy players. I think a lot of lower league teams with the current climate will be looking at free agency and things like that. So maybe there's a hope there that teams might not be able to come in and afford to buy our players, because realistically our players are of quite good value, I'd say. So there's a hope in that. But I think in terms of up front, obviously we've signed Kyle Warren. If we didn't sign him permanently, he would be a massive loss. I think he had a great game today out of the squad. Always is doing his best in terms of holding things up and getting open, play open. But I can't really see anyone else being picked up apart from Carl Roberts and Enzio. But like I said, hopefully the value is too much for a League Two squad to come in and get them at this time. So
yeah, that's a fair point. And final question: is there anywhere where you'd look like any position on the pitch where you look to strengthen for next season?
I think centre midfield. With Doyle, we don't know if Doyle's going to play another season or not, but I think Rose had a good game today, but I just don't think he's been consistent enough throughout the season. Crawford probably could have a bit of a better chance in there if he gets a look in. I think he can show everyone that he probably deserves to play a bit more. But I think centre midfield, we need to kind of change it a bit in terms of, I think maybe be a bit more pacey. I'm not too sure. Something needs to, in the middle of the midfield, we didn't quite get it today. It was difficult. We saw when the edge of the box, when the balls were coming out, when Harrogate were defending, there was no one there to pick them up, and I don't know if that was just positioning or whether it was just bad performance. But other than that, I think left back we'll obviously have to look at. I think if Bagan's going to go back, and McCrory's probably there, but it depends if Bakayoko can step up. I think Ardley, I have faith in Ardley and confidence in him, but it's just, I think it'll be harder to attract players that we have attracted this season because it is the second time in non-league, and it's not going back the first time we're asking. But obviously if we can sell the idea that next season is the season, then we might be able to. But I think overall the team's quite solid. It is not a non-league side. I think it is definitely a side that can perform higher than that, but getting a bit more consistent, making sure that if we have a bad day at the office or whatever, we have the players that can still see us through.
Yep. Like
Kyle Wharton at the top, whether we play bad or not, I feel like he's always having a good game. But I think centre midfield is probably where we need to strengthen with the squad, really.
Yeah, that's a fair point, Jordan. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.